Hey guys, I want to talk about kind of a cool subject. Be sure to like and subscribe, guys. I want to talk about this subject. We've talked about it a few times before in the past, and I want to talk about it for some of the newbies out there. Um, Back in the day when we were younger and we went to a dance or something, we used to say, "Are you going to go stag? Or are you going to go drag?" I mean, that's an old saying amongst some of us older expats here, and we use it a little bit in when I was younger, for going to a dance. You going stag or drag? You gonna drag a girl there? You gonna whatever, or you gonna meet girls there or whatever. And there was always pluses and minuses to both. It was nice already having a girl when you got to the dance already that you could dance with, and she was already your girl. You didn't have to worry about trying to find a girl that was looking for a boyfriend, and some of the girls there might not like you, and it could be an embarrassing night. But in the Philippines, when you come here, a lot of guys like being set up already and having a girl already waiting. And there's a big mistake that a lot of these guys make. And this is my opinion, okay? It does work out for some people. It worked out for me, okay? Because I come over here, I had a girl waiting for me already. So it worked out for me. But I want to say this here is this. If you're coming here and you've been talking to a girl for a year or two, in my case it was 4 years, you're talking to a girl, or some of you guys sometimes 3 months or 6 months. Be careful, because some of you guys, like as soon as you get here, you call me up and you're telling me, all this stuff about, well, I want to get married. We're going to try to get married like a week or two after I get there, and then I'm going to go back to the States for a while, and then I'm going to come back and live in the Philippines or whatever, or some people just come here permanently and just stay here. And I'm like, why would you do that? Live for a year and see if that girl fits you okay, because she might not. Just live here for a year. It doesn't even mean she has to move in your house. You can just tell her, say, well, look, when I get there, let's take it slow. The first 3 to 6 months, I don't want to move you in right away. I just want to have my own place. And, sometimes that's the way to go. I know some of you guys, you tell me, oh, I know what I'm doing. This girl's different. Everybody tells me that story. But Steve, this girl's different. I can tell from talking to her on the phone. Everybody has told me that story. And then a lot of times, guess what? It doesn't work out. And you got to kind of protect yourself. And I'm not saying all these girls don't work out or 50% don't work. I don't know what the numbers are. But I'll tell you this. A lot of the guys that I see that come over here and they start off as just dating. They just like to date for a while. And they do pretty good. And then they finally find the one that they want to stay with. Some of the guys that come over here and they start off with a girl and they move her in right away or whatever, they kind of regret it afterwards because, they're looking around and they're saying, geez, look at all these nice looking girls out there. And, I could have did better. You can also do worse. Sometimes the grass is not always green, and because, that girl might look pretty, but you know what? She might have a flipping really bad attitude, or she might be a scammer, or she might be just bad news. She might be sleep around Sally or something. You don't know. A lot of these people, you have no idea what you're getting into until you get to know these people, and you have to get to know them just like you would back in the U.S. And a lot of guys seem to think that a lot of Filipino girls here are a total different thing than back in the U.S. Totally different, and they are. But there's different problems. There's different issues. There's family issues. There's money issues. A lot of the girls here, they want you to support their family, their brothers and sisters, their cousins. And, they invite people over every night to eat your food, and it costs you your money. And some people don't like that. I don't mind to a certain point, but I mean, sometimes it gets a little ridiculous and out of control because a lot of people see, well, I can go over, my aunt's house and I can eat over there, and because her husband or her boyfriend's rich, and I'm going to go eat over there. These are the types of issues you got to contend with and deal with. You'll suddenly have a bunch of people sleeping in your house and stuff all the time, and after a while, some of them might just end up being there permanently. And some of the girls will not ask you; they'll just let it happen. Or I've had issues. I'll tell you right now, we had some issues here where I had my girlfriend's brother in the very beginning when I first got here. He showed up at like 5 a.m. in the morning. This is going back when I first got here. This is like 5 years ago. And I just had to ask him to leave. And I asked him to leave. I think it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. He was here for one night, and I haven't seen him since. That was like 4.5 years ago. We had some issues. It wasn't that I hated the guy or anything. It's just that I kind of felt like he kind of pushed himself into the house, and it wasn't a good thing. I wasn't happy about it. And it could happen to you. And that's just a minor thing, I just felt like when I got to the Philippines, I wanted my home, my way, or the highway. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I come here to retire. Now, my girlfriend has the little boy and her daughter and stuff, and I got a place, actually, right there, right behind the fan, is my girlfriend's daughter, my daughter, I call her. That's Joanne. Her place, she has that place right there. That's her own. She's a nurse. She's studying to be a nurse. She's going to be graduating probably in another year. Now, she lives there. And sometimes when people come over to visit or something like that, we let them stay over there with her. And sometimes we have people stay in our house too. And then we have the little boy too, and he's like 10 or 11 years old now. And sometimes he stays over with Joanne, who is his cousin, sometimes stays over in our house. And, the kids I'm okay with to a certain point. But I don't want every kid in the family coming over to live with us, obviously, nor would you. And these are the issues that you have. But as far as getting back to coming over here, stag or drag, these are the things you have to contend with. And if you're dating and stuff, you're not going to have families move in with you. Eventually you're going to meet a girl that you like. Make sure we talked before about this, boundaries. Man, there's no better word in the Philippines than a boundary. Because, if you don't set boundaries with people and tell them, say, hey, listen, this is what I expect of you. Even when you're sometimes you have to set boundaries with friends over here. I've had to do that, and sometimes they don't like those boundaries. And you set those boundaries, it's like, ugh, they take off. They don't want to talk to you anymore. Because I'm not going to let somebody push me around. I don't tolerate it well. You know what I mean? I expect people to respect me. I'll respect them back. Don't respect me, just get out of my life and leave me alone. And that's the best way to handle it sometimes, rather than fight back and forth and stuff like that. I don't want to fight with anybody. I don't want to be anybody's enemy. Just leave each other alone. And that's the same way with women. If you're out dating or something like that and you don't get along with that girl, just, say, look, I just don't want to deal with you anymore. This isn't working out. Some of the girls can't take that. They can't take rejection, a lot of these girls, because some of the girls, I don't know whether it's because they see you as an ATM, or maybe they did fall in love with you or whatever, and they want to really, really, truly want to be with you. That happens all the time over here. Some of these girls are not really in love, though. They're in love with love. If you understand what I'm saying, they're in love with love. Okay, by that I mean they're not truly in love with you. They want to be in love with somebody, and they think that they're in love with you, but they're really not. They're in love with love. And having you, makes it feel like they're in love when they don't even know you. They probably maybe known you for a couple days or weeks or whatever, and they're already starting to tell you that they love you. I mean, I remember talking to girls a long time ago over here, and them saying, I love you 15 minutes after you talk to them. I mean, it's crazy. And I talk to a lot of the expats over here. They go through the same thing sometimes. They'll go on a date, or they'll be talking to a girl online. The girl's already throwing out the word, I love you, I want to be with you the rest of my life, I can't wait till we get married, Some of these guys haven't even met the girl yet, and they're already talking about marriage. That's why you need to find a girl that has her head on straight. A lot of guys there's a lot of guys in the United States, let's face it, I don't want to call them losers, but I'll say that they're not people that are really social. They don't have a lot of dating skills or what have you. Okay? And they come over here and they love that attention. And that's not being a loser. It's just somebody that they never really had the attention of a lot of women. And over here you start getting that attention, and they love that. They're like, oh man, this girl loves me. She's treating me good. Look at the way she's treating me. But there's more to it than just that. There's a lot of stuff behind that on the other side, and a lot of you guys have to open up and open your eyes wide open and say, okay, what about our family? What about this here? What about that there? And some people kind of overdo that too, okay? and they think that they can train Filipinas like a dog over here. I've seen that too, and you don't treat a woman like a dog. They're not a dog. They have the right to make up their minds the way that they want to, and the freedom to express themselves the way that they want to too. Of course, within reason. There's always within reason. You have to, but you're going to contend with issues over here. Don't think that the girls over here are a girl that it's going to be all paradise over here, and the girls are going to be the best thing, since toilet paper. It's just, it's not like that. The girls over here are nice. They're different than American girls. They're different than any other girls in the world. They're the friendliest, nicest women in the world. They're intelligent. They have a good EQ, emotional quotient. Instead of there's a lot of smart women over here too. There's a lot of educated women over here. There's a lot of really decent women, but there's also that small amount that you got to be careful of. And let's face it, probably 50% of the women are not going to match up with you. Probably more than that, maybe 60 or 70% are not going to be a match for you because your personality doesn't click with that person. So you still have to contend with that too. Let's face it, it's just like back in the US. Some women over here might not like you, or you might not like certain characteristics about them. You might not like the family background of the family. There could be some issues with that woman. Maybe she was in trouble in the past with something, or maybe you don't know. Usually when you see a woman that has lots of issues, you can usually tell she's carrying a lot of baggage with her, because she's trying to beat around the bush all the time. She's always trying to get out of something. She's always trying to circumvent when you ask her a serious question or something like that. When you start seeing like that, usually that means run. Run the other way. But as far as coming over here and having a girl waiting or dating, stag or drag, is there any right answer? No, there isn't. But in all honesty, I think if you come over here and you date first, I think you're way better off. Or if you have somebody that you're talking to online, don't move them in right away. See where it goes. Give 3 to 6 months or whatever timeline you feel like, that you feel safe with. And if you see that it's working out and it's going good, then move her in, and see where it goes from there, But to come over here and have them move in right away, and when you try to go to move them out, it's going to be more and more difficult to move them out. And you're going to be breaking her heart. She might have quit her job to move in with you. There's another issue. There's also a monetary issue there. These are all the things that you have to contend with and deal with coming over here. A lot of things to think about when you're over here in the Philippines. It's not as easy as a lot of people think. Because if you move a girl in and she quits her job and she was supporting her family, guess what? You're going to be supporting her family. You need to set those boundaries before they happen. You move her into the house, you need to tell her whether you will support the family a little bit, or you will support her kids, or support her mom and dad, or cousins, or whatever. You'll help out a little bit. You need to tell her how much. You could also give her a certain amount of an allowance each month, like a couple $100 a month, and say, hey, listen, I'll give you this amount here. You do whatever you want with it. You can spend it on yourself, or you can spend it on your family, but when it's gone, it's gone. Don't come up to me asking me for more money, because that's it. Set those boundaries. Boundaries are your best friends. Whether you're back in the States or you're over here, set boundaries. I remember back home, I had a teacher one time where I was working, and she was harassing me. It was political harassment, more or less. She was just harassing me, bugging me. It got on my nerves after a while, and I took her aside one time and I says, hey, listen, I says, I don't want you talking to me about that anymore. I said, I'm done with it. And she started saying, oh, you're not going to, you can't take it. I says, it's not that I can't take it. I'm sick and tired of it. I said, I'm going to give you the final warning, okay? And next time you do something, I'm going to go downtown and I'm going to file a complaint. And the lady left me alone after that. Setting clear boundaries sometimes can be good. And it wasn't like we became enemies. She would still talk to me. We weren't close friends after that, But, I just had to set those boundaries because it got kind of sickening after a while. It got kind of, it was very fatiguing to go to work and have somebody harassing you about politics when you didn't even like to talk about that stuff sometimes. You just like to be left alone. Did I like, do I like talking politics? Yeah, with the right people. Over here, I don't talk politics hardly at all. I mean, you guys know that we have a no politics zone on my channel, kind of. We talk very little about politics because I don't think it's a good subject to take up amongst friends. It's just not the thing to do. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show.